Hey YouTube friends, Ben Ochart here. It is gray and raining in Los Angeles and I love it. We need the water. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hey, somebody suggested that I go back to my old way of doing things. Someone suggested that I go back to being Ben with the 60-gallon. Let's give it a shot and see what happens. Hey YouTube, this is Ben with the 60-gallon cichlid tank. Thank you so much for tuning in. And the 100-gallon cichlid tank. And the 30-gallon cichlid tank, which is actually kind of a quarantine tank. And the 150-gallon African cichlid tank. So the truth is that I really can't go back to being Ben with the 60-gallon cichlid tank. But what the heck happened to me? I'll tell you what happened to me. I got the cichlid bug, and I got it really bad. And it started with a mixed tank that I quickly learned was not a good idea, especially after the Buna put on some size and they started harassing the heck out of my peacocks. I made some of the mistakes that people make early on. You can see them in my early videos. When you watch my videos, realize that the early ones certainly contained a lot of things that currently I'm not doing. But you know what happened? I just fell in love with these fish. I fell in love with the colors, the behavior, the attitudes, and I was off to the races with a severe case of multiple tank syndrome and multiple species syndrome. I'll tell you what I mean. Peacocks, of course, were the first thing I became very, very interested in and started keeping. But sure enough, I then bumped into Placidicromis, like this beautiful white lips here, and this deepwater Electra. And then I made the mistake of ordering up Lethrinops, like this red cap. And at that point, I think I officially went completely out of control. Now, so now I'm maintaining several kinds of species. This will probably eventually just be a Lethrinops tank. It's being used as a sort of an intermediate grow out. You can see there the red shoulder and a couple other fish in here. But it will probably end up being dedicated to Lethrinops. This tank is serving two purposes. One, it's growing out some fish that will eventually go into the 150, such as the Buco nototaenias in here, Bucochromis nototaenias. But it'll also end up being a tank for intermediate sized fish that are just too small for that 150. Well, and then what happened is I made the mistake of getting involved in large haps, and I'm going to blame my friend Evan Alexander over at Hap Nation, and fell in love with these fish behind me that are just monsters and display very incredible colors and very interesting behavior. And so, like I joked about in a video years ago, when I said don't get into the hobby, because if you get the bug, like the way I did, you're going to find yourself in a lot of equipment and in a lot of fish. And but you know what? I love it, and I got a feeling you love the hobby too, and I wouldn't really change a thing. But it's that's what happened to me. It started off with me just throwing a video up on a tank I had before, a little mixed tank, and it just got more and more serious. Nobody provided me with an intervention, and so my addiction went completely out of control. All right, so that's what's happened. Maybe it's happening to you. If it is, share your story below. I'd like to know how you went from your one tank to multiple tank syndrome, and how many fish and the types of fish you keep now. Tell me your story below. I'd love to hear it. Thank you so much for tuning in. That's what happened to me. Just take a look at these guys. I mean, what hope did I have once I got into these kinds of fish displaying this kind of size and color? You really can't blame a person for getting a severe addiction. Well, it's a lot more than just an HOV. It's a lot more than I hang on back now.